Survivor Skills. Project Gliese, Book 3. By S. E. Smith. Performed by David Brenin.
Gliese 581. 18 months, 23 days, 4 hours. 928,081,020 kilometers, 6.2 astronomical units, AU, from Earth. 2 minutes, Sergi Lazaroff confirmed into the microphone in his helmet, responding to the warning he had been given. He reached out and gripped the side of a long panel. While his spacesuit was bulky, he moved with ease in the zero gravity within the complex alien machine. He had attached a string of magnetic lights at regular intervals, and there were additional lights mounted to his helmet. But outside of their limited range, the interior was pitch black. Josh waited in the large gap created by whatever had struck the gateway, ready in case Sergi needed help. A feeling of awe still struck him when he allowed himself to think about the fact that he was inside an alien machine that had been abandoned who knew how long ago. The results of the carbon dating they'd done on the metal were inconsistent, much to the disgust of May and Julia. A smile curved his lips as he thought about Dr. Mei Li Hu's frustrated determination to extrapolate a plausible history of the object. Of course, she would be better off waiting to theorize until they'd gotten more information, but some people were just too impatient. May was one of the 5 crew members on this mission to investigate the unusual object discovered more than 10 years ago by Dr. Harry Marksdale, a University of Arizona professor and amateur astronomer. May had ostensibly come to the mission at the behest of the Chinese Space Agency, and Sergi suspected the others were unaware of her secret objectives. Her private mission was similar enough to his own that it had been relatively easy to recognize. She was a spy for the Ministry of State Security, the Chinese equivalent of Russia's Federal Security Service Bureau. May's father, owner of one of China's largest technology manufacturing and research companies, had been a major contributor to Project Gliese 581G, which had made it easy for May to become a crew member of the mission. May was one of 2 mission specialists aboard the spaceship. Her background in computer science, biology, and environmental systems was an invaluable asset to the expedition. The other 3 members of the crew were Americans. Lieutenant Commander Joshua Manson was a career Navy man. He commanded the Gliese 581G mission with military precision and attention to detail. Along with Lieutenant Commander Ashton "Ash" Hayes, the pilot for this operation, he had been brought on after a helicopter accident killed the first crew chosen for this highly classified international suicide mission. The last member of the team was the only member without any military training. Dr. Julia Marksdale, Harry Marksdale's daughter, was there purely for her scientific expertise. Julia was in charge of navigation, medical, and contact support. The project had been the brainchild of Harry and Julia. Sadly, Harry, along with the initial and backup teams, had been killed while returning to Houston. Sergi suspected the fatal mechanical failures of the helicopters had been contrived to ensure that he and May were added to the new list of recruits. Unfortunately, there had not been enough time to find out whether it had been his government's doing or that of May's. His specialty was in mechanical engineering, payload, and weaponry. Sergei's mission was straightforward: find out what was out in space, retrieve as much data as he could, and return home alive to share it with his handlers. Unfortunately, there was no way to transmit the data without everyone involved with the Gliese 581G mission realizing that he was a spy. The only way to pass on the information covertly was to make it back home in one piece and do so personally. Of course, this mission came with greater risks than any other he had been assigned before. After all, if things went south, there was no one to extricate him. Not that anyone would have come for him on any of his other missions either. "Sergi, you need to monitor your oxygen level. You are down to 80% while Josh is still at 89, May quietly said. "Are you worrying about me, May?" he quipped. The sound of an inelegant snort whooshed in his ear. "Dead people tend to soil themselves. I don't want you to ruin a perfectly good spacesuit because you hooked up the hoses incorrectly," she retorted.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?